So, Laurence, Nikolaj, bienvenue.
Merci.
Hello.
But we will continue in English, so it's
Yes.
easier for our viewers.
Yeah, for sure.
To our interview. And this was your first time participating in the ISU Grand Prix final.
Yeah.
And I guess it was a very important goal for you. Congratulations for qualifying.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So how do you feel about this first part of the season with the with the Grand Prix and the final?
You know, we worked really hard this year, I think, on changing some stuff in our daily training, and we had, great success in our 2 Grand Prix, and our goal was to win a Grand Prix this year and to make it to the Grand Prix final. So we're very, very satisfied with our first half of the season, and just we were so excited to be here this week for our first Grand Prix final. It's a step in the right direction with the high goals we've set for ourselves. So just very happy, yeah.
You came into this post-Olympic season, and it's always after an Olympic season, it's always a kind of challenge, I guess, to a long, demanding season. How did you approach this new season?
We really took a small break, a longer break this time after the season from last year, and see what we wanted to improve in our skating and really go back to why we want to skate, and took the time to see what's our new goals, and we were excited to approach this season and just to work on ourselves, not only as skaters but mainly as humans. Yeah.
Interesting. So what kind of development do you aspire as humans?
Well, I think it's after last year, it was a really long season, and we didn't really know what to expect going into an Olympic season, and it was stressful, and so after the season came to an end, we sort of had to figure out. I had to figure out, first of all, if I wanted to continue skating, and I think
Olympic being one of the main goals that we had set up.
You hit this goal that we have worked for so long, and participating and being competitive also. So, we needed to find a reason, and we said we've been skating together for 10 years now, and it's the way we've approached our training has always been kind of the same, and it has brought us this far. So it has brought us where we are so far, the way we approached our training, and we figured, we want to really start winning, stepping on the podium, and really moving up. And what do we have to do different? Because so far, the way we've been training, it's brought us, solidly into the top 10 in the world, multiple occasions, and so we really needed to figure out what we needed to change.
Yeah, we developed our strength, and we knew that our physical side was great, and we just wanted to see where can we bring ourselves to the next level.
Yeah. And so this year we've really took an approach, like Laurence said, developing ourselves. I think we've worked a lot on the mental aspect. We've been really vigilant in our follow-up with our sports performance coach, who works with us every single week, sometimes twice a week, talk everything through, being really responsible in our daily training, trying to give our best effort every day. And then learning how to put a little bit less pressure on yourself, I would say, in terms of, you don't always have to train. It's not about training hard all the time. It's about knowing that you're able to do it. Like Laurence said, we've spent so many years developing our physical strength, and, we have so many hours banked. We bring that with us in our baggage to every competition.
Yeah.
We've skated together for 10 years, and we can do almost everything. So relying on that a little bit have taken off a lot of pressure this year, and so you can really just find the energy to perform and to really have fun when you go out there and not worry about anything else.
And it's also, I think, very nice to see that you have a long career. As you said, a long career. You've had to overcome many difficulties where you had to change the country to realize your dream. And how do you feel that has, how inspiring is that maybe also for others?
I would say, like, if I had to redo the same story again, I would do it 10 times. I would not switch anything, because who we became so far is because of what we've been through. And the whole support of everybody we have in the back. The whole Canadian Federation was here. The Danish Federation came to see us here at the Grand Prix final.
Really?
Yeah. The president and vice president from Denmark came also to see us. They're still very supportive and happy of our choices. And I think it's, you know, we become who we are because of all the adversity we face, and we didn't have an easy time either here at this Grand Prix final this year. You know, we didn't perform exactly like we wanted to yesterday in the long program. Stuff happens, and I think it's how you get back up, and it's how you keep on fighting. Like Laurence said, changing countries was maybe the most scary and the most exciting and the best thing we've ever done. I think it really made us into better athletes. You know, it makes you be a little bit more grateful for getting the opportunity to even just, you know, be good enough in Canada to get to the international stage, because there is a lot of people in Canada and everybody's fighting hard to get to Worlds every year, to get to Olympics, you know, was a fight. And so it has just made us, you know, all around better people and stronger athletes, I think. So, yeah.
Also, I think what is very nice to see that you have a long career, that and that's you and also some other, let's say, older athletes that are like in Paris, Stellato, Dudek, and also some other skaters and ice dance that enjoy a long career.
Marco and Charlene and Eddie, Maddie and Evan have been together 10 years also.
So how do you think, how important is that we have these older, more experienced athletes continuing for a long time?
You know, I think it's really great. I think it shows the young people I often see. I think us as older athletes, people don't know what we've been through and all the competition. Like I did my first Junior Grand Prix in 2003. You know, it's before some of the kids that I trained with even were born.
That's 2 years after I started skating.
Some of the kids that we train, you know, so it's been a long road, and I think often it's also good for them to be inspired by the athlete to stay in it for a long time. I see a lot of athletes quit prematurely and give up on their dreams maybe earlier than I thought they should have. I think perseverance is something really it's a strength, and I think it's something that is good that we have, you know, athletes around that have been, you know, Evan has been to 4 Olympics.
Yeah. Yes,
he didn't just skate with Maddie. He skated with another girl
Emily
before,
Samuelson,
like Emily, and you know, all the injuries we've gone over, and it gets and the best part to all the young ones out there, it gets easier with age. Actually, it does. I think because the mental aspect changes and your approach is different, and we're still just as stressed in competition, but at least we know a little bit more what to expect, and we're more used to it. So we kind of have, you know, more training in how to deal with that. But I think it's really good for the sport. I think showing maturity in general in ice dance is something really cool, and I love seeing the older pair teams too. And so everybody that just keeps going has been really.
And there's just something magical when you get to a competition like here. We don't have the chance that much to compete with the junior being present. To just keep inspiring them and having that lead and follow, and just that given relationship to one another. We see their youth and they give us, and they see
energy
our maturity
too, and they were in the stands for our practices, and
so,
you know, so it's
something that I think will really help that helps the sports.
Yeah.
Which of the junior dance teams did you especially like?
I think we might have a.
I mean, we train with the Koreans, and so we see how hard they work, and we really think that they've come a long way. I hadn't watched junior at all, and I was really, like, this year I watched some junior Grand Prix, but for some reason I had kind of missed the Canadian team that won gold in their events, and I hadn't seen the Czech teams either. And I'm really impressed. Like, I mean, I think they're going to be great in senior long term, and so I'm just excited for them. You know, it's just important to know that stuff takes time, and if you're not successful in the first 2 years in senior, like, you know, you gotta keep going. It's not easy to make that transition, and I think it scares a lot of athletes to go from junior to
I think
senior,
they all think there's such a big difference in between junior and senior, and then the first year might be a little challenging, and then the second year they just settle in saying, okay, it's actually the same thing I have to do on the ice. So
yeah,
that's what we see a lot.
When you this question, I had another question that was kind of falling about this, and now it's gone.
we can come back. We
But
can
yeah,
circle back.
maybe we'll come back. Yeah, no problem. I wanted to ask, because Laurence, you are so your hobby is the music,
Yes.
composing and putting together.
Yeah.
So how did that happen?
I mean, how did the whole music hobby happen? Or
Yeah.
I mean, my dad is a musician at the Montreal Symphony Orchestra. So since I'm young, I guess I've heard music playing in the house since I was a baby. I remember he was putting us in the tuba and playing for fun when we were
Babies.
very, very small. So it started there, and then in my family we have a background. My mom was always listening to a lot of music, and my stepdad was a DJ, a famous DJ at the time.
And studied at the Conservatory of Montreal, also music.
Yeah.
Together with your dad.
Together
actually.
with my dad. So music always have been pretty important in the house, and at one point he just started to show me. My stepdad used to cut a little bit the music, and he showed me how programs worked on the computer. So I tried. I think my first try was the first year I started skating with Nikolaj, and I cut the music for a short dance, and it ended up pretty good. And then after those years, I started liking it more and more, and doing music research, and just liking to cut the music together. And I was very lucky because I had coaches that gave me the opportunity to explore that strength. And you know, sometimes some coaches, they say, you skate on this, I cut your music, and that's it, that's all. And they always gave me the chance to give my input on music pieces, and we had discussions on when to put elements on the music. So that all started from there, and I guess it just evolved year after year, and it's a huge collaboration in between us and the coaches. And then with Hugo, that's always there to masterize my piece, because of course I'm not good at balancing sound, and there are some cuts sometimes that I can be struggling with, and he's amazing. He responds in 5 seconds every time I communicate.
Yeah, you can
with
be
him,
on the
so
ice and send him a messenger, and he will
crazy.
have your music cut in 5 minutes after almost sometimes.
Crazy. Yeah.
So without him, there wouldn't be any programs either. It's important to mention, but I think like it's important, like what Laurence said about, you know, also the coaches giving us that room and allowing us to develop that thing, because it's not everybody that does it, but you know, some teams do, and
it brings something to also the couple when you're able to look for your music and skate on something that you like, and you kind of like that cut of music, and then you hear even better, you hear all the instrument, all the drums differently. It just brings the creativity to another level, which our sport is. Yes, it's a sport, it's athletic, but creativity is such a big part of it, and we're communicating, we're sharing emotions with the crowd, and if we want the crowd to understand their emotion, then we need to be able to feel them at one point, and the music is like that third pieces in between me, Nick, and the crowd that's going to be there to bring all of us to another level.
Yeah, and especially your freelance this season.
Yes.
How long did it make you? Because it's there's so many different music, but they are really so composed so well together that you don't really notice. It sounds like one piece.
I think that's one thing that Laurence always had the goal. You know, it's this cohesiveness of music. We've heard a lot of music cuts that, you know, we don't necessarily would skate to ourselves, and so
You were pretty good. You're you like sometimes some cuts.
Yeah, I like sometimes some cuts, but Laurence really needs it to be, and I think so. This year when we sat down and we had the meeting with Marie, and Marie said, I think this music could be really good, and Laurence's eyes lit up, because she said, it's been 5 years that I kind of want to skate to this music, but I haven't found a way to. And Marie introduced a new piece that we hadn't really listened to, into the whole
concept and a
idea
theme.
and the concept and the theme. So yeah, she got home after that meeting and was super excited and starting looking for music straight away and said this piece. And do you remember the piece also? There was a piece the year we did our flamenco that you wanted to skate to, Nick, but it's actually from this album that we could use. Okay, let's use
And
that.
it's
Let's
like
use this.
we believe that everything happens for a reason, and sometimes there's a piece of music that you love but you can't use because it doesn't go with anything. So just like it's still gonna be, and sometimes we're listening to some music and we think we would love to skate on that, but I don't think it's necessarily for us. And then you think, well, maybe one day it's gonna be for another skater or for another cut or for a show. And it's really this free dance was just, it was really a collaboration because he brought up one music, and when we look for the artist, we look from what kind of sound does it sounds like. Okay, what artist gives the same sound? Which year? It's really like a little bit like going through
But how
history.
long did it take you?
Oh, how long? Oh,
That was the
I
initial
don't
question,
know.
and we
How
circled
long?
around.
Oh, how long?
I think you had a rough cut within like a couple of days even. Didn't take that long. And then it's just sort of figuring out, you know.
I usually sit down for like a weekend, or we skate from 7 to 12, and then I go home, and then I'll do that in one shot in an afternoon.
And then kind of what happened this time too, then Laurence put in some music that we hadn't run by Marie, so we came to the ring and said, oh, what do you, like, listen to this. And then we listened, and then finally she really liked it, like the piece for a 1 foot, the Fur, like it's kind of, it sounds like Fur Elise, but it becomes into something else. This little piece you found is, I think it could be really good for this element. Let's put it there. Let's put this there.
And what's great is that.
So it's also the collaboration of then bringing it to the rink, talking to the coach in charge this year, Marie, for a free, and then, you know, making sure that everybody is on board. Everybody has the same vision, so that when we go and attack the choreography, we know that we're all moving towards the same end goal. Yeah. Where we know where we want the elements, we know what we want to do, and so
And what's great is when you build up a piece of music, and I'm at home and I'm trying to build that up, and I have so many doubts, asking myself, is that a right piece? Is that slow part too long? Is there good? Is it gonna sound good in the arena? So then I still I'm gonna go, I don't know, 2 or 3 versions, but one that I kind of like, I'm not sure. Go to the ice rink, and Marie's gonna be there and say, I really like it, no doubt, we're taking this one. So she's the one that's gonna cut the decision. Yeah. And then just make up the choreography with us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's a really interesting process.
Yes.
Then the final product was
yes.
Yeah, we're very happy with it.
Yeah,
so we love
happy.
doing this program, and I think it's just I think it shows out there that it's something that we enjoy, and it makes training easier. You know, when you have programs that you really like, training every day is much more pleasure. Yeah.
And your long skirt, was it difficult to get used to and you really use it like a prop. It looks very effective.
I would have to say that skirt is hard to dance with. It is hard because it is heavy. Some skirt, it could be long, but when it's long and it's not heavy, the skirt doesn't do the same movement. So we went all in for a skirt that has a heavy material.
Heavy material, zero stretch. And let me tell you, I could not skate with it.
You can feel it.
It's very hard.
You can feel it because I have a skirt for practice and I have a skirt for competition, which is not the same skirt. And I can feel it when I wear my skirt for the competition a couple of days before leaving, and it's weight. There's a lot of weight pulling outside. So when you turn or when you glide, but there's that feeling also of being able to move something around and using that skirt as a third element was music, so I would guess fourth element is pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible. It's just adding another touch. You want to do an arm movement, but actually you can use something else without being in a prop or something.
Yeah, it's impressive. I like that too.
Thank you.
It looks very cool.
Thank you.
Now, the first half of the season is over. We are heading into the second half of the season. There's Canadian Championships coming up, and then for Continents World. So, what are your goals for the rest of the season?
Listen, we've set really high goals this year, and we really, you know, I think we train to win, and we train with the intention of trying to win nationals. It's not going to be easy. I mean, this week we proved that we could be really close in the short dance to Piper and Paul with an international panel, and the free dance didn't go our way this week. We lost a lot of points. It was very, very expensive. But I think we're really undeterred in our goals for the second part of the season. We want to step on the podium for Worlds. There's no doubt about it. And for 4 continents, we actually wrote that we wanted to win 4 continents. So we'll see where we get. But I think just keeping the same approach that we've had so far in this season has really worked out well for us. And I think continuing down that road and just being really responsible in the daily training with how we attack each day as a new opportunity to get a little bit better will be the thing that will determine the outcome for the next 3 competitions this year. So we're just really excited getting back. Now we have a little break with family, but then getting back to training. I think always after some adversity you have this urge to step back on the ice and get a lot better, and you have to sort of fight that a little bit and let yourself some time to slow down, let it sink in. It happened. It's maybe not a big trauma, but it is a little trauma, to the body, and you have to sort of just find your balance again. I think after something like that was so unexpected. I mean, we did some of the best skating we had ever done yesterday for the first 2.5 minutes up until it happened, and even after that, I couldn't even be angry getting off the ice because I was so proud with what I did before and after, and I said, it's just a blip. It's like it happens, and it's crazy, and you hope that it never happens to anybody, but it does, and it doesn't just happen to us. It happens to everybody all the time. So, it's about how you get back, and we're just going to recenter. We're going to spend this week, with family and take it easy, and then we're going to hit the ice hard, and we're going to be ready to really get all those goals we want. Yeah.
And what are your long-term goals?
I think long-term goals for us right now is really, it's been ever since coming back from the Olympics and starting this season, it's been about having, really enjoying the last years that are left. You get closer to the end, and you don't want to waste any time. So, yeah.
And you realize finally you're where you wanted to be for so long, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun out there. It's fun to training every day becomes more fun. Yes, it's stressful.
It's fun. It's easier. It is easier. It gets easier.
Yeah.
And long-term goals, like we said, it's one season at a time right now. We're on borrowed time. We know that. I've been injured. I've had 2 knee surgeries already, and so getting back from that and actually feeling healthier and healthy every day is amazing. So we just said, as long as our bodies, because it's a privilege, what we do. Not a lot of people get to do this, and it's an easy life. Like we have our we don't have to do our own schedule. We just have to show up. We know what we got to do every morning. There's people waiting for us to tell us exactly what to do.
7 in the morning.
Yeah, I don't even have to think, like all day long. If I really didn't want to, I could just shut off my brain and listen to my coach and then say, you got to be here, you got to do this, you got to do that. And then, of course, we're laughing. There is some planning. We're in charge of our own off ice. We're in charge of all the stuff that goes on around the ice. But
it's a pretty unique.
The fact is, it's a unique lifestyle. I think a lot of people would trade places to be in our place to be able to do what we do. It's something special, and you realize that the farther into your career you get, and the closer you get to the end, and that's why we just really want to enjoy.
Yeah, one more question, because
Yes.
you are also a couple off the ice,
Yes.
and how do you balance your relationship on and off the ice?
Balance. Is there really a balance right there?
We're together
We're
like
24/7
all the
together.
time. Like, and I think it took some hard work in the beginning, and then it starts to get easier. It's our sports performance coach Stephanie Howland who has coached us not just through skating for the first part of our career, but also through a relationship. A lot of help with that. You got to be committed. It's another layer that can work against you sometimes, and it can work for you sometimes. And I think that it's one of those things that it's one of our strengths on the ice. Connection is something we love, that part of any program. You know, the feelings that we can show to the people watching. Between the two of us is something really cool, and being vulnerable together is also really special with the person you love. So I think it's something that has grown into a strength, definitely. Yeah.
And it's like, once you've been through that vulnerability on the ice and that intensity through stressful moments, life outside is so easy. Yeah. Communication is so easy because you've been through the most stressful parts of your life, fighting together towards a common goal. That little things in life is...
Who cooks dinner is not very important anymore, or why didn't you pick up your laundry, or you know, the little quarrels that happens at home. It seems so benign when you're used to dealing with situations that are much more stressful, and it seems like there is much more high intensity. So
learning that we don't have necessarily to agree, but we have to align is one of the things that helped us the most, I think, in life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yes.
You don't have to agree, but you have to align.
So I think that's a perfect ending of
Good.
our interview. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good luck with the rest of the season.
Thank you very much.
I just see one little thing that I will show our viewers.
Yes.
Your little pin.
Yes.
Yes.
I got this yesterday.
Yes.
I got this yesterday
Show
from
us
the
this little
president of the Danish Federation, and I have no clue where she found it. Look at that.
She gives up that pin.
It's lovely. Yeah.
A Danish and a Canadian flag.
Yes.
So that's kind of cute.
It is. Good. So then, all the best, and
Thank
see
you very
you
much.
soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.